Hey guys, today is February 16th, 2023. On my screen, we've got the higher time frame outlook for EU, Euro US dollar. I'm currently running three longs, and I took a short earlier today, which ended up break even. So today's either going to be like break even day, or we'll hit some profit targets up above here a little bit more. So let's get into it and have a little look. So we're initiating away. We've got this sell primary range over here. They mitigated, they pushed price down. They then came up above the liquidity, they mitigated, and now they've pushed away, initiating lower prices. And the reason I'm looking for longs now is because a new intention could be coming in to the marketplace, and I'm seeing that it's happening. And what it is that we've got potentially a new intention, right? Because liquidity's just been taken. This liquidity came in, and they've a new intentions coming forward. What the intention is going to be, we're not certain. We don't know if we're going to come up here, take liquidity here. We don't know if we're just going to stop here, turn around. We don't know how they're going to play it. But suffice it to say, this is an area of interest for us. Up here is where I do expect price to get back to, because if you think about it, range, initiation, break of structure, very weak break of structure. They're coming up for more liquidity, right? Or at least to come back to where they had their orders originally in place. And so I'm not seeing anything really that looks like a very good sell primary here, okay, in this area here. So I'm not really that interested. Let's just turn this off. I noticed that we've got linked drawings now on TradingView. A new feature just came out, and you turn it off with that little button right there. Okay. So, like I said, no sell primaries in here. So what does that mean? Likelihood is it's just cause. The last known sell primary, as far as I'm concerned, was in fact this kind of a range here. It's not clean by any means. Let's get it going on. Sell primary, and it broke maybe here, activated. So they've already had a mitigation, but maybe they need down here to activate it. And now we're coming sort of back up into this range, right? So possible coming back into this area here. And let me just write back real quick. Just got a text message. Okay. And so that's what I'm thinking. So as we saw this new intention come in, I'm still considering shorts, continuation shorts, but it didn't show up as far as like continuation shorts didn't work out, right? I got myself into an entry, and it just got taken out because the intention, I believe, came from the buys. We had this sort of buy side activity, and there were a few missed opportunities from myself, but not nothing crazy, nothing too crazy. And we'll talk about it. So let's talk about all of this from today. And now, first, I'm going to start off from the sell side, and then we're going to go to the buy. Um, and then we'll go to the buys. So let's have a little look. Okay, so now we're on our 1 minute time frame, and we're going to just start talking about it. So why would I take this sell here? What got me to take that sell, right? Okay, so we have to sort of talk about the story. So we know that higher time frame mitigation happened up here, and somewhere up here, way up the top, right? And then we're initiating away, and so we're looking for sell primary. So here's one: range, initiation, break structure. This is the range that came up above that liquidity, broke on itself, and then broke some sort of structure to the left hand side of the screen, right? So that activates this as basically an area in which we can start shorting. This is the last known range inside of that. From if we measure from the B to the C leg of this range, we can see that between this B and this C, this was the last known range on this time frame that we can see that created a range before it initiated. So it's like when I say it's the last known one, it's really the first one that was created after this high was put in. Okay, and so that's the range of interest that I'm always interested in. And so as I see price get up into this area, right in here, what am I looking for? My sell entry modal. I call it an initiation now. Like it's just a sell initiation is really what I'm looking for. Like the same patterns they repeat over and over and over again, and so that's really what I'm looking for, right? And so if we drop to the 15 seconds, we can now see, okay, we initiated prices away from this area, right? Range, initiation, kind of break of structure. I guess you could call this structure here, and there definitely was structure right here. So range, initiation, break of structure. This comes in over the top, making a buy primary, right? Taking out the liquidity here. And then this comes up over the top and pushes and wants to push price down. So as it does that, it leaves this gap up top. And this gap is basically free reign for us to start shorting the market. As soon as it breaks this gap here and breaks structure, which actually had structure right here as well, the trade idea would then look like this in our heads. Something like this, or maybe basically to swing structure, basically a continuation. So that's not a bad sell to take. 2.5 pip stop, 10R, no problem. So I believe I had a limit order here and just didn't get come back in. Then this is the most amazing thing here, right? I like these ones. So it mitigates what? So this was a buy primary in here, right? And so here, price stops right here and mitigates a buy primary. And I write this on my screen, transitional order block. It's a buy primary mitigation. Now, if we're short in the market, the one thing that we want to be seeing is really to be mitigating a sell primary. If I'm shorting the market, I want to see us take out a sell primary, then have to come back and mitigate through it like as a transitional, and that would work out great. And so there's your transitional order block by primary mitigation, which really what that tells us two things. Yes, we can initiate from here because it's a buy primary. But number two, this is going to become liquidity. And that's what we should have, or I should have really been like sort of holding off on this trade a little bit because of that. Because yes, I'm seeing this as a cause, basically a reason to come up. It's not sort of giving me all the signs that yes, this is going to work out. And this is the part that I absolutely adore and why I got into this trade, right? So yes, we've got this buy primary mitigation. Price pulls down, price pulls back up, and it comes in to take out these sell primaries. Notice I've got a sell primary here and another sell primary here. They're very sort of weak. They're actually sort of initiation modals, really, than anything. They didn't sort of range initiation break a structure like we're typically used to. I mean, they did do that, but it was very like the structure that you have to take. Like, okay, like for example, look at this first one, right? So we got, let's zoom into it actually. I'll be able to talk about it better. Right? So we could argue that this is the range, right? Range, initiation, and this is the structural break. This little candle here, it's almost equal lows. Then they come up and over it, right? So it's a sell primary, but it's a weak one because it's not looking good on a 15 seconds even. It does tick all the boxes for an initiation away, but it doesn't tick the boxes as far as becoming a sell primary. And it's the same with this one, really. Range initiation, like it didn't come back over and take liquidity from anything that we can sort of see other than sort of this candle here. So you could argue again, range is in that candle. Here's the breaks of structure, one of these. Then they came back up and take the liquidity. So these ones aren't like the best. But when we see, so if that, imagine though, this was a sell primary, right? And you've got price blitzing up here, coming right back, mitigate something, right? And you're not, maybe not too sure what it is, or you're scrambling a little bit. Then you see it pull back, and they stop price right here and initiate aggressively away. Now, what I do is I pull over an arrow tool and I like to look at what it was. And then as I see, oh, look what it's mitigated, a sell in it in this instance. But let's say it was a sell primary. This is like gold right here. Gold, gold, gold. Because that's like when that's exactly where you want to be initiating away from, right? It's this range is what they're mitigating. And so if you're sells and they come back and mitigate a sell primary, that's a golden sort of ticket. Okay, so that was a really good looking trade over here, right? It mitigated this sell init. initiation, and then they created on a lower time frame another entry modal over here, and it was this one that I liked the best, right? It went. What did we do? We can see it like this. Let's get rid of this and this and this. Here's how we can see this. Oops, wrong one. Range initiation break of structure, which stacks liquidity. Price then comes up over that liquidity to take it and then breaks on itself and then breaks out the structure, forming a sell primary. Okay, so this was a sell primary in formation at this point, and the reason we were able to take it is because of this. The buy primary came in. So the buy primary came in, we had this range initiation break of structure. Okay, so it's then taken liquidity from this range. So here's that liquidity, taking the liquidity from here, the buy, comes up to take from the sell. Now, the buy primary is trying to break up of here. And the fact it's just showing an immediate unwillingness in this slither, this little small area right here, means that we can enter. We look for a break of structure, ideally. There it is, right? So there's that slither, it starts pulling away. There's that break of structure. And I just enter immediately, getting my stop safe. Okay, getting a nice initiation away. We get some, breaks of structure, whatever, and it rolls over. Okay, falls over on me. So break even right there. Now, take profit on this one was actually it was 10R. I think what happened was it was a 2 pip entry, but I moved my stop manually to like 2.8 or something just to push it over the top. So I was taking more risk, like 1 point something R rather than just 1R. But I was still going for that 10R down here. Okay, so that's my sort of thought process behind all of this. So as I see us get taken out here, oops, right? And as price is sort of coming through and it takes out comes up here, I'm thinking to myself, well, this still could be short, but there was no sort of short signs coming in. I didn't get a sell primary form or anything like that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, let's just hold out on the shorts because it looks like something else could be happening. And that's when we need to turn over to our buy side of things and start understanding this. Now, I'm not actually going to scroll back. It's going to mess up our charts too much. It'll take a while. But just trust me on this. This is a buy primary, okay? That's all I need you to trust me on. There's a break of structure far on the left-hand side of the screen, and we've stopped in an area where we've actually mitigated a buy primary. There's another break of structure available down here somewhere as well. I may have already gotten rid of that. Oh, there it is. I was going to say I may have already deleted it from my charts, but there it is. And so we've got this buy primary formed, breaks on itself, and breaks up above this high here, which actually activates it. Okay. So as it's forming, I'm seeing it form, and I was actually thinking this could be a buy primary being put in, and I didn't enter. But I'm, that's hindsight, really. It's a hard one to enter for me because I like to see some proof, especially at a higher time frame point of interest. We've been shorting, so I'm not too worried about missing an entry. And it was a hard one to get. It requires like a full understanding of market mechanics and why they would like reverse from here, after all of this activity. Range initiation, range initiation, range initiation, range initiation, break of structure, right? So we've got these areas here that are just stacking cores. Then we get this happen, and I write a good mitigation, right? Because what happens is price comes back down to mitigate down here. Now, I can't remember exactly where that short was, but let's just forget the short for a moment and just focus on the buys. So we've got a buy primary and then a higher time frame buy primary coming in that's going to connect, potentially, if it can break up over here. So as that's happening, it's left us with this sort of fair value gap, which is not the correct terminology for it. Fair value gap is actually IPA, inefficient price action. And so I might call it a fair value. It's just oh gosh, I need to come up with a name for it, but it's just a slither. It's just a little area, the purple box. And so that's when, as soon as it breaks here and breaks up on itself, we are looking for buys down here. Like I even wrote buys down here. And so again, no entry for me. right? We broke here, price never came back down into this area, which is where I'd be wanting to buy from. So what would my buy have looked like if I had have gotten tagged? 4 pip stops, so it was too big. So I would have actually looked for a lower time frame entry on that one. And so then we're just building on it, right? We're building the story, and so we're trying to push, create a range here, and we think, okay, well, this might be a range, a buy primary range, in which case it's going to break on itself and try to break major structure. And so if it's going to do that, what do we know about buy primary ranges? They always create some sort of a range in the middle that's going to become the range of interest, the last known range that I'm interested in. So it could be this one, but because this is a higher time frame range, I'm thinking it's going to be something a little bit more substantial. And so in hindsight, I should have been thinking like entering sort of around here, because this is actually where that was sort of created from. And I could have taken it like on a risk that that was actually what was going on. Instead, I just waited on my, just waited and let it sort of move away from me. Price initiates away, breaking here and breaking major structure. Okay, so price has sort of gone without me. And so this is activated though. That's the important part, right? This buy primary is now activated, so we can pull that over. And so as soon as it's broken structure up here, we can see that a re-entry into the buy primary means going to basically be that we're very interested in going long. And look where we get tagged from, right? So now we've got a mitigation inside of this one box here that I was very interested in. This is the range that we expect price to come down and mitigate from and to, right? And so this is where my first entry came long. Okay, so we've got this taken range, initiation, break a structure, right? This is really a good looking trade. We've got the structure on the left hand side here, right? So you got range, initiation, break structure, comes in up over it. And this could be a really good sell if we were in sell land. If we were coming out of the sell primary and it was initiating way, this would be a really good time to sell. It's just to sort of short like that. Instead, though, we're not. We're going from buy primaries, right? And so they've come up, taken liquidity, pushed down, created that fair value gap again, just the purple box, created the purple box again, initiated away. Break of structure is, you could say it was maybe there, but it's likely there, right? Break of structure there, could have gotten in here, could have. There's a chance I could have gotten in here, right? I could have taken the break of structure on this candle high here. Whatever is what it is. I didn't take it, so it doesn't matter. Range, initiation, right? So now we've got this new sell primary that's formed, and then we got range, initiation. I'm expecting this just to come over behind it, right below it. Range, initiation, break of structure, and I'm seeing that price is here, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, golly, price is real likely just to come down here, take this liquidity from this range before initiating up and away. Especially if I can get an entry in here, I can pretty much cover all this bottom area here, right, with my entry and everything. So that's a 2 pip stop. And sure enough, that's my entry, and they do exactly what I was thinking. They come below. See how the low is here, and look over to this side right here. You see how it came just below it. So they took the liquidity, retail grab, and they initiated away. And look how close my entry was, right? So I was a little butthurt about that, but shit happens. And so I'm long, right? We're long. And so this is my response to missing out. So when I've missed out, I've got to check my emotions, check my everything, right? Get myself back in it, because I'm seeing this initiate away, and it's just like, oh, god damn it, it's gone. It's like nearly 10 hour, whatever. Pulls back down, and that's when I'm sort of starting to build from my story, right? So what have we got here? And here's that last known buy primary. What happens? They come up, take price from the high side, take price from the low side, taking the liquidity, right? Or actually, they went equal lows on this one, but it's basically a retail liquidity grab, and it's a bounce. And right here is that fair value gap, or the purple box, like we've been talking about. We break structure. I take structure off of any of these. I could have taken it here, but I wanted it above this purple box, so I took it there, right? And just having all of this extra sort of confirmation, I took, there was all of these breaks of structure. It comes straight up, and then I've just got my entry right at the purple box, or mauve box, whatever we're calling it, right? Boom. And so now I'm just following intention. Now we've got this buy primary, new buy primary in here. I've colored these wrong. Sorry, you guys. I just noticed that's a sell primary and that's a buy primary. Okay. So now I've got this new buy primary in here, ray it out. What do we mitigate? A transitional order block, yes, so that's stacking liquidity. But what is it? It's a buy primary. I talked about this just not too many minutes ago. A buy primary mitigation. When we're long, gold. So as soon as I see that mitigation, I was literally scrambling to get into my to get to my broker and everything, get all that set up. It comes straight initiates away way too fast for me. I'm trying to get in here, and by the time I can, it's like up here something. My stop's like ridiculous. So I enter a limit, just put a limit here on the off chance it's going to come back down. Sure enough, boom, tags me straight in, and we initiate away. And then I see like a rinse and repeat of what's going on. I'm just watching what's happening, and I see, oh look, we've just taken liquidity from up here. So it's a sell primary. Where are they looking to break? Down here, right? To activate it, and it's just an initiation away. And so as I see that, and I see an unwillingness to trade in here, right? Unwillingness to trade in here, an initiation up. I guess I should have waited for that break in structure. The break in structure would have been right here. I'd already entered. I was already like, by the time it got this high, I was already in because it got out of the purple box. That's that as well. It closed above the purple area, and so that was my reason to just initiate again into another buy. And so there we go. I mean, I got 3 longs on the go, which isn't like me at all. Let's just clean this up. There it is. And so this was a buy primary. This was a sell primary. And we're just initiating away, right? So we're looking to get TP1 here, and then all the rest are sort of over here. I beg your pardon. This one was a no connect, so we're not looking interested in this one. This is the best trade of all because it had the 1.5 pip stop and 15 pip take profit. So we'll just see what's going on. These are all break even at the moment, so it doesn't really matter, what happens. It's either I'm paying commissions only, or we're going to actually get something. And where when we came to this high, what did we mitigate at a 15-second sell primary? What are we mitigating now? Well, definitely transitional. It's having a big reaction though, or having some sort of a reaction. So let's have a little look. If it's a sell primary, this could be the end of our little run. So let's see. It's most certainly a sell primary. Most certainly a sell primary because price came up over it. So this was the range that came up over it. This is the range we expect to see a decent mitigation from. So they've mitigated basically what we would say is the open. Let's just have a little look in depth as to what they exactly did mitigate here. Okay, so it went below that bit of price action. And was this a buy primary? Yeah, buy primary. Right? Yeah. Boom. Okay. Buy primary. Does everyone see it? Range initiation, break a structure. They came back in, take the liquidity from below the range. We could say that these are all ranges as well that have got built liquidity. And the structure we could also say is sort of like these. Wow, which one? Like this high here. Yeah, realistically, this is the only structure, but they are building upon it. So it's not like the best ever buy primary we've ever seen that ticks all the boxes, but hell, it's a buy primary. And so when we mitigate a buy primary, right, that's what they've mitigated here, a buy primary. Yes, it's the open of the major higher time frame sell primary. What that's going to do, in my opinion, is that's going to help the buys. So when you mitigate a buy primary like this, why would we mitigate a buy primary? It's really to help the longs, isn't it? So it might be for liquidity purposes, just to stack liquidity here. Maybe we could just do a quick grab and go kind of thing. But I believe this is to actually help and assist the longs. So not a bad mitigation for us. It's in a tricky area though, because it is also into that sell primary, so you can see it in two different ways. It's also higher time frame sell primary. So there's some good points, bad points for the trade. Absolutely not going to take out any profit at all. And I'm just going to let these go, regardless of what happens. There's my trades for the day, you guys. Aloha to anyone watching. If this does take these out, I will add in the video description or a comment or something that it took them for profit. Otherwise, if there's nothing in the description, then you can know that they price rolled over. I'm not going to wait and update these. So that's the trading day, you guys. Aloha, aloha. Hope everyone is crushing it, smashing it, and having a fantastic life. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.